Republicans continue to abandon Donald Trump, and I really don't know what could bring a bigger smile to my face than another story of that happening, which is what we are seeing right now with new reporting about a Republican ready to quit on Trump because he has set up the midterms to be the greatest bloodbath in history. This is hilarious news that I cannot wait to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this Republican about to quit on Donald Trump, I want to start with a reason why, and that is the polling environment that Donald Trump has created, the political environment that Donald Trump has created that has MAGA running for the hills.
The new Gallup poll out today is terrible news for the president, just absolutely terrible. His approval rating right now is -24. The president is 24 points underwater in his approval rating. 36% of the country approves of him, 60% disapproves. Just absolutely stunning, not even 1 year in. And on the issues, it's even worse. It's worse just because it's so relentlessly bad for him. No ray of light anywhere here. Do you approve of President Trump on the issue of crime? No, by a 9-point margin. Do you approve of President Trump on the issue of foreign affairs? No, by a 15-point margin. Do you approve of Trump on trade? No, by a 19-point margin. Do you approve of Trump on immigration, right? He really wants you to love him on the issue of immigration. No, the American people do not approve of his handling of immigration. And what's the margin? The margin is 25 points. The American people disapprove of his handling of immigration more than they approve of it by 25 percentage points. Turns out all those propaganda videos of you being mean to immigrants aren't working. Do you approve of Trump on how he is handling things in the Middle East? No, by a 25-point margin. Do you approve of how Trump is handling the economy? No, 26-point margin. Do you approve of how he's handling the Russia and Ukraine war? No, by a 29-point margin. Do you approve of his handling of the budget? No, by a 33-point margin. Do you approve of his handling of health care? No, also by a 33-point margin.
No one has ever been as unpopular as Donald Trump. And the person who knows it and is most afraid of it is Donald Trump. Do you think he would be threatening Republicans in Indiana, on his knees begging Republicans in Texas to find, or should I say steal, him more seats if he thought he was going to be cruising to victory? If he thought everything was going to be fine? No, Donald Trump's gerrymandering was based on the knowledge that not only was he historically unpopular already, but it would only be getting worse after the passage of Donald Trump's big ugly bailout for billionaires, after Donald Trump decided that 1, 2, 3, let's do 4 Pete Hegseth scandals would be sufficient. The botching of the Epstein cover-up, yeah. He knew things were going to get worse. It's why Gavin Newsom fought back, and it's really important context for the recent quitting that Donald Trump is seeing from MAGA.
And again, because I, like many, agree with you, support independent redistricting. But you can't do it state by state with one arm tied behind your back. You can't unilaterally disarm as other people are not playing by the rules. Donald Trump and Republican governors across the country, governors not just in Texas, but you're seeing what happened in Missouri. You see what happened in North Carolina. Obviously, what's going to happen in Indiana, likely, and then Florida. They're not screwing around. They're consolidating power. And we were sitting there, and I think Donald Trump did not expect what Californians did. He thought we would try to win an argument by writing an op-ed, maybe express disdain and concern about the country. I don't expect
the Democratic Party of...
Yeah, of old. And I think that's the bottom line. And I think this moment, what happened on Tuesday, represents a new moment. Clarity, conviction, purpose, energy, on our toes, not on our heels, a resurgent Democratic Party. And it's a party that understands what's at stake for our democracy as we go into the 250th anniversary of our founding fathers. And I think that kind of momentum and direction is, I think, really going to enliven people in the next year.
Do you think that
Gavin Newsom didn't just fight back? Gavin Newsom fought back and won in a way that I don't think many would have predicted. And it has set the tone for how Democrats need to move forward, that we should be taking up every fight, that we should be impeaching Donald Trump, that we should be impeaching Pete Hegseth, that we should be preparing these people to be held accountable for their war crimes, that it's not, oh, we need to unite and maybe a strongly worded letter and, maybe an op-ed and maybe like a small protest. No. We're not doing that bullshit anymore. We actually have to fight back. Because when we do, they run scared, which is what's happening to a Republican in California quitting on Trump right now. Longtime House Republican eyes Texas seat due to California redistricting. Longtime Congressman Darrell Issa of California was reportedly considering a run for Congress in Texas if the Supreme Court upholds new district maps in California. The new map approved by California voters would eliminate Issa's San Diego area seat if the Supreme Court upholds it. On Monday, Punchbowl News reported that Issa was eyeing a seat near Dallas if the ruling does not go his way. So we have a Republican from California, right? And all we ever hear about are Republicans complaining about how terrible California is, what a hellscape, it's so awful. We love Texas, we love Florida, don't California our Texas? It's all we ever hear from MAGA. And now we have a California Republican who sees the writing on the wall, who knows that Gavin Newsom has won this redistricting battle, who understands that if he tries to run, he will lose. He is now quitting on his district, quitting on his community, which I'm sure he never really, represented in any meaningful way, and is now trying to cut loose and run down to Texas to run for Congress in a different state. You're hearing me correctly. Run for Congress in a different state. And I believe if he were to do this, which this is what the reporting is, he may even have to resign his seat from Congress to be able to then declare his residence in Texas and run. Is that not crazy? These people run for office, get elected, and their only job becomes, in their minds, preserving their career. Republicans do not serve their constituents. They never have. And you know what? There are still a lot of corporate Democrats as well who do the same thing, who get elected to office and just want to preserve their power, who stop fighting, who stop working, who stop actually caring about their constituents, who do not take up town halls. We need all our elected representatives to be people who actually serve their community and are not willing to just run away to Texas from California. But that's crazy. He's openly just admitting, we're going to lose. This looks bad. I'm done. It's just, I quit. Sorry, can't do this anymore. It is just absolute insanity. But it is no surprise that Republicans want to abandon an administration embroiled in scandal, as Lawrence O'Donnell wrote down in a scathing rebuke of Pete Hegseth right here.
The Washington Post broke the news reporting Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave a spoken directive, according to two people with direct knowledge of the operation. The order was to kill everybody, one of them said. Two people with direct knowledge of the operation. That means they are inside the Defense Department watching Pete Hegseth. They are like the helicopter pilot flying over the My Lai massacre and knowing that he had to do something, knowing that what he saw happening on the ground was a crime, knowing what he was watching on the ground was the worst war crime ever committed by the American military. And so he landed that helicopter. The people who are witnessing the order to kill everybody see only one way for them to try to stop such orders. And so they spoke to the kinds of reporters who have been banned from the Defense Department under Donald Trump. Reporters who are not allowed into the Defense Department press briefing room by Pete Hegseth. The Washington Post reporting on this story proves once again that access to the press briefing room is access to the least useful reporting that can be done in Washington, in the Defense Department, or in the White House, or anywhere else that has a press briefing room. Alex Horton and Ellen Nakashima of the Washington Post got this story without setting foot inside the Pentagon because they are banned from setting foot inside the Pentagon. There is no war in Venezuela. There will never be a war in Venezuela. Donald Trump foolishly decided to publicly play with the idea of war in Venezuela to distract from the Epstein files, a distraction that has failed miserably. And while Donald Trump remains weak in the face of Vladimir Putin's murderous aggression and war-making in Ukraine, he seems to believe that he somehow looks tough by firing the most expensive weapons ever used to destroy the smallest boats ever destroyed by weapons of war. Small boats with outboard motors in the Caribbean, a place where there is no reason to be firing at anything that is floating there. There is no evidence, zero evidence, that a single boat attacked by Donald Trump has been carrying drugs. No evidence of that at all. Not one shred of evidence has been presented of a single ounce of a single drug on a single boat for attacks in which 80 people have now been killed by Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth. These are the kinds of small boats with outboard motors that you can see in small lakes in New Hampshire. They're not ocean-crossing vessels. They have no cabins. They're just open boats with outboard motors that are used for water skiing and family fishing outings in New England and California and the Great Lakes. The Washington Post report was about the first such attack on September 2nd. Quote, a missile screamed off the Trinidad coast, striking the vessel and igniting a blaze from bow to stern. For minutes, commanders watched the boat burning on a live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. 2 survivors were clinging to the smoldering wreck. The Special Operations Commander ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions. 2 people familiar with the matter said the 2 men were blown apart in the water. The commander overseeing the operation from Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Admiral Frank M. Mitch Bradley, told people on the secure conference call that the survivors were still legitimate targets because they could theoretically call other traffickers to retrieve them and their cargo, according to 2 people. He ordered the second strike to fulfill Hegseth's directive that everyone must be killed. Today, the White House press secretary, who has never conducted a press briefing without lying, said that Admiral Bradley issued the order for the second strike on his own without Pete Hegseth telling him to do that. And Donald Trump's first instinct, as we know, is always to lie about everything. And so when asked about this, the very first words out of his mouth were, I don't know anything about it.
This is an administration that is flailing, that sees where this is going, a potential Democratic majority in the House, maybe even before the midterms, is what they're staring down. And they should be scared, and we should continue to put the pressure on. We are going to on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.